Chuck, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, bro? How you?
Man. Thanks for taking out some time to holler at me, you know?
Nah, it's all good, man. Glad to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, every day is a blessing, you know? Every day is a blessing.
Absolutely.
No matter what
Alvina's.
the circumstances is, you know?
Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. That's a fact. Alvina's one of my good friends, man. She and I go way back. So,
Man, she the best. Man, she the best. She the best of the best.
yeah, definitely.
I say that with confidence.
Yeah, no, that's a fact,
Best of the
man.
best.
Yeah, absolutely,
Man,
man.
she the best kept secret in the world.
Yeah, she is. She
She a
really
blessing,
is.
man.
No, that's a fact, bro.
And
That's
that's what I was telling her. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've been in this like you've been around. I've been around a long time, right?
yeah,
And she's probably one of the most on point people you can ever meet in life.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. I agree, man. So what's going on with you, man? Like, she told me a few things.
Well, I'm gonna get to the point of it, and then you can ask me questions. We can figure it out. But the first thing is, it started off. This how it unraveled. This how it really started in '91. Well, you seen that movie Straight Outta Compton, right? I never seen it, but I'm quite sure you seen it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it once. I saw it
Okay.
at the.
There was two guys that they was rappers, right?
Yeah.
So at the time, back in the day, Easy paid for the studio time. Q wrote the song, and Dre did the beat, and it was Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
They thought it was too West Coast for them, right?
Right.
So when they thought it was too West Coast for them, Easy said, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
Yeah.
After that blew up, let's fast forward from to 91, like 91 rather.
Yeah.
So we was in Solar Building at Big 50 Studio recording the Chronic. We had most of the songs. Actually, it was done pretty much.
Right.
I had a meeting at Epic. So I remember before Sony was Epic. So I had a meeting over there with Clay Through and all those guys. And I come from there. I was on my way back to the studio and, suit and tie, suited up.
Right.
I started getting pages, the beeper days. Call me, 911. I called my office back because we had got the studio. We used it for office and the studio.
Right.
And the motherfucker answered the phone. What the fuck you want? I said, hey, look, man, don't answer the phone. Put the reception on. I said, what this dude? I said, you got to get in here. They tell me they're going to take songs off the album. They doing this, they doing that. So anyway, make a long story short, I get there. First thing I do, one of the Stanley brothers weighed like 350. One of them like 6'7". So
Yeah.
the fat one was on the phone. I said, look, man, this is a business line. Don't ever touch this fucking phone. You want to use the phone in the kitchen area, the pay phone. Use that phone, right?
Right.
So he was like, well, my brother and some house nigga trying to tell me what to do.
Right.
Now, that's the worst thing to call a motherfucker like us, because I'm in the suit and tie, you got it fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So I did approach the dude. I did get on him with no gun, with no weapons, or none of that shit. So I made him get up out the thing. I told him they can't, because they wanted to take a couple of songs.
Yeah.
But a lot of this is bullshit, but straight to the point was this. I was on a run for another case. So when the police came to talk to me, they couldn't talk to me.
Right.
And so the police report, they said they pulled over a police officer and said that, they got beat with pistols and took all their money and jewelry, right? So it went to the police said they believe that they didn't get beat up, or they know they were getting hit with no pistols because there wasn't no marks on them. And it looked like they had any money. So then they said, okay, our driving license.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So if you fast forward, they need Jerry Heller. They rappers.
Yeah.
They said, well, we got into it with Suge. Jerry said, well, look, I want Suge in prison. Let me introduce you to the DA, a guy named Larry Longo, a friend of mine. Tell him this, and he gonna take him off the streets. So they meet Larry Longo. Larry Longo said, this is what we're gonna say. We're gonna give him the gas and get him off the streets. He told Jerry Heller, in return, you got to give my daughter a recording deal. So one day I go to court, lawyer David Kenner, I happened to see Longo, and he was in the cafeteria. And David said, that's the DA right there. Let me introduce you to him. So he said, this is Suge Knight. This is Knight who you've been looking for, and this Larry Longo, the DA on the case. So Larry Longo said, man, you play football, I play football. I play fullback. I'll ran you over. I said, look, you short that motherfucker. I'll knock your head into your shoulder pads, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, man, I like you. I said, yeah. He said, because you're honest. You did it, right?
Right.
He said, look, next time or next week I'm going to get together and talk to you guys. So he meet with us again. He said, look, man, I'll do anything for my daughter. My daughter's, he said, I'm going to tell you the truth. I was just going after you because Jerry Heller wants you off the street. He said he was going to give my daughter a recording deal if I get you off the streets. He said, well, my daughter said she'd rather for you guys to do her album.
Oh.
So I ended up doing the album. I gave her $1 million, paid the studio time, bought a house from her, all kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
So as time went on, I didn't supposed to have no strike, no misdemeanor.
Right.
So then a big thing came out in the paper, right? It was all over the media in the 90s, right? So then I had Johnny Cochran and David Kidder. Now they arguing about who got the deal for me. Johnny Cochran called Larry Longo with me and David Kidder there, and the DA said, well, look, Suge, both of them were good lawyers, but use my lawyer, a guy named Howard Price. I gave that dude $1 million, right? Once he started representing me, once I got violated, I didn't supposed to have no strikes. So I got a declaration from him that said I'm supposed to have it's supposed to be a misdemeanor, no strikes because of 3-strike law and all this type of shit, or I wouldn't have took the deal.
Right.
That's in writing.
Right.
Okay. Now fast forward, that same thing was in writing. That's how they doubled me up from 11 years to 22 years to another 5, gave me 28 years over something that's not true.
Right.
Now, Bill Cosby had a verbal agreement. I got a declaration from the lawyer.
Yeah.
Right? So I finished my time already. Now, let me take you back to a place where was regarding my case. Straight to the point.
Okay.
This is the things was done to me. This is the things was done to me illegally.
Okay.
My second day in court, they didn't want me to come out. I said, no, man, I want to come to court.
Yeah.
Because I'm already, they bring me from the county jail to court.
Right.
So when I comes out, I tell the lawyer, I tell David Kidder, I said, look, man, either you get a challenge with the judge to tell me you step it down because I'm gonna fire you in front of the meeting, everybody, because I'm not gonna move from Compton to CCB because of the DA shit back in the day.
Right.
The alleged crime happened in Compton. Compton was on board for giving me a bail. They trying to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go in the courtroom, it's on the middle orders and the cameras there with new people. I asked the judge, I said, look, Your Honor, this is my second day in court.
Right.
You got to give me time to hire new attorneys because the attorneys right here, right now, they have been fired, relieved from all their duties. He said, no, you got to keep them. I said, no, this is my second day in court. They're fired, right?
Right.
They are fired. He said, well, I said, I'll tell you what. Right now, I like to exercise my rights and go per.
Per what?
Now, that's about go per. When you go per, that means represent yourself.
Okay.
Now, you can look up the law. Any person that want to go per, they just can't say, no, you got that right.
Right.
What they're supposed to do is actually, do you know how to read and write? Have you been to high school? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
I got a college degree, and I ran a business, so I should have the right to go. He said, no, you can't go per. So they sent it to the next courtroom to see if I want to move from Compton to CCD. They wouldn't let me attend. They took me to stairs, put some handcuffed me, and took me away in a squad car.
Right.
When David Kidder and his partner went in front of Judge Cohen, they had been fired already. It's in the minute orders, and even the news had it. It was all over the news. They was fired. Right. They let these attorneys agree to move me from Compton to CCB in front of a Judge Cohen, one of the worst judges in CCB. Because he had my bail hearing, my prelim, and my trial, which is illegal.
Right.
They're not even my attorneys.
Right. Right.
So now they've been playing with me back and forth. Now they went from that to the point where the judge says anybody had a weapon, a firearm, I wouldn't buy you up for trial. They wouldn't let me have attorneys. They wouldn't let me go to trial. In fact, every time I had an attorney visit, they recorded every attorney visit I had. And that's against the law to record my legal visits.
Right.
So I had a civil case came up. On my civil case came up, I was able to present my case.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who he had the gun to, he got on the stand.
Yeah.
When he got on the stand, he swore on the oath. And all this stuff I'm telling you, I'm going to give you the minute orders so you can read it for yourself.
Okay.
So they put the guy on the stand, and they said, well, is that you? He said, yes. He said, his last name is Kinsey. That's me. He said, what are you doing? He said, that's me right there that the guy Sloan hands a gun to. I take the gun, I put it in my back waistband, and I pull my shirt over it. He said, well, another guy had a gun too. So he starts naming all these things, right?
Yeah.
That's the proof that they had guns.
Right.
Okay? It was another guy got on the stand, and they put him on the stand. The lawyer didn't want to put him on. He said, because he'd been in prison before. I said, well, if you're going to get somebody to do some dirt, you're going to get the deacon of the church. You're going to get a guy who brought that life.
Yeah.
So they put a guy on the stand, and he was sworn in.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he was at base camp, and Sloan waved him over, like, come here. He said he couldn't hear him because he wasn't close enough. He waved as a gesture and said, come here. He said when he walked over to him, he said, Dre, want to ask you something. He said, all right, what's up? He said, how much would it cost me for you to get rid of Suge? He said, what do you mean by get rid of him? He said, kill him. So when they said that, they cross-examined him. They said, well, look, man, since you know Mr. Knight, you say he's a good guy, you do a lot for the content for the city, why you didn't tell him? He said, because the next day I went to jail.
Right.
So the lawyer the DA got all happy. He said, you went to jail? What'd you go to jail for? He said, the next day I went to jail for attempted murder.
Right.
Now, not only do we have those facts, we got the checks that these guys gave these guys who tried to kill me.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
If you work for the production company, you will get paid by the production company, Universal, and if I'm going to give you a check, I'm going to give you a business check. I ain't going to give you a personal check.
Right.
But what I want to get out there to the point is this, besides that. So after all this time goes on, they wouldn't let me get lawyers. Every time I hire a lawyer, they give all my stuff to the lawyer I used to represent me.
Yeah.
Straight fuck me. So I end up I filed something on my own.
Right.
I said, well, I gave them the copy of the declaration. The animals had no strikes. Number one.
Right.
Number two, I filed the fact that it's a violation to not to let me go per. It's called a Brady violation or something.
Mm-hmm.
They said I was right on that.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, I says if attorney's fired, they can't go to a court date and 5 minutes later and represent me. The minute I fire them, they're supposed to get their briefcase and go home. They can't go into any other courtroom without me being there and represent me.
Right.
It's like me coming off the streets representing you.
Yeah.
And what that call is an unfixable error.
Okay.
That means you fucked my trial up, my case up, by letting two attorneys represent me that wasn't my attorneys.
Right.
And you knew they was fired. And when they was in there representing in front of Judge Cohen, an entertainment attorney said, hey,
you have 60 seconds remaining.
They've been fired. They don't represent Mr. Knight. They told the judge, they said, well, nobody telling me. We telling you now. But they still let them go all the way in and move my case from Compton to CCB.
Right. Right.
Which is illegal.
Right.
And not that if you go all the way back, the first day I went to Compton, I had a bail bond there with a $2 million bond and a $5 million bond. Compton was going to give me a $3 million bond. The DA says, well, the judge in CCB was going to make it a no bail case. So I looked at my lawyer and said, man, we're not in CCB, we in Compton. So the judge said, so I got to go by that? The DA said, yeah. He said, what judge said that? She said, I don't remember. But they still made me a no bail case. So why would I want to go there?
Right.
And see, once I did that, they took my, for me to hire an attorney, I was telling you when I filed, so I filed some stuff on my own, right?
Yeah.
So when I filed on my own, I broke everything down. I put the minute orders in there. I put the newspaper clippings from the news in there. I put minute orders where even when the judge stating that if any of you guys have found me about me for trial, and I even put the part in there where the lawyer that made me take, they found my pet attorney made me take a lawyer you've been known for 4 years, so he say. So in my prelim, not my prelim, in court, he said, well, you have strike, right? I said, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. No, I don't. Me and the judge going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, you failed to tell the court that they supposed to took it off. I don't supposed to tell the court. I got the top notch from Johnny Cochran to Howard Price to get the job done. I don't supposed to tell the court nothing.
Right.
So he told the Grunt was my attorney to talk to. So the guy said, Your Honor, could I see the thing you talking about? Because I never seen it. He said, I can't show you mine. He said, I don't have it. He said, okay, we'll talk to him. So he tells him, he said, look, you got the media in here. You got all these people in here. I'm going to talk to the judge in chambers and get it straight where you don't have a strike, right? He said, so agree to it and then I get it straight.
Right.
But the law also stated, I put it in my appeal, the law also stated that attorney can't give you advice on something that he never read or seen.
Right.
That's the law.
Right.
That was another error they did. Right?
Right.
So I attached all, and they said I was right on everything, right?
Right.
So the first time I filed it, and they said I was right, they said they needed more time. They wanted 30 days.
Right.
And they wanted 4 months.
Right.
Then they wanted another 6 months. They're playing games because I'm right across the board.
Yeah.
And then I even got the judge accused and say he can't even hear this appeal because he violated everything, but he broke all the law.
Right. Right.
He agreed to that also and gave me a new judge.
Right.
Then they brought a DA who's not even in that DA's office anymore and brought her back in to say, hey, let her go over everything and she need time. She got to accuse herself because she could be a witness. She a potential witness because at the end of the day, you was there when I fired the 2 attorneys.
Yeah.
You was there in the courtroom when you let these 2 attorneys I fired have a hearing on my behalf representing me.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
To move me from Compton to CCB, which is totally legal. And what is called in court is an unfixable error. So on an unfixable error, only thing you got to do is you got to make a deal and let me go home or show I was right, or you let me take my plea back and start all over. But it'd be hard to start all over because you did all this bullshit with my case.
Right.
I'm even willing to start all over. Who cares? Because I'm right on it.
Right.
And they even said I'm right on everything.
Right.
And everything they gave me and everything I filed, that they said I'm right on it, right, I can give it to you.
Right. Who said that? Who said that to you?
The DA's office.
Okay, got you. Okay.
They wrote me back and said I'm right on everything. They just wanted more time to do their due diligence, but at the same time, I gave you the minute orders from the court. I gave you the articles from the news, from the media.
Right.
The news, you know. And once you look on the minute orders, you'll see plain as day that what happened.
Right.
And you know you can't make up the minute orders. It's right there.
Do you have legal representation now? Or you representing yourself?
Yeah, I got people I had people who wanted to represent me. Now, this is another story, right? I hired a guy named Don Ray, one of the best. He gave it to my old attorney, Kenner.
Yeah.
I hired this other dude. He gave it to Kenner. Every time I hire somebody, they go back to my old attorneys or they go and the DA talks to them. I did this. I'm getting a new lawyer, but I did this on my own.
Yeah, okay.
I filed this stuff on my own.
Okay.
And that's another reason it shows you that I'm confident enough to represent myself. When people say I couldn't get done, but I got one of the best attorneys out of Vegas, and he's coming to see me too. But see, the thing is, they wouldn't let me hire attorneys when I was in the county jail. I got declarations from my attorneys from Vegas, from David Chaz and Richard Schoenfeld, the best of the best. They let them sit there for hours and hours and wouldn't let them see me. When they let them see me, it'd be like for 4 or 5 minutes and wouldn't let them come back.
Right. Right.
So my whole thing was railroad.
Right. Where are you located now?
I'm in Donovan, San Diego.
Okay.
San Diego, Donovan State Prison.
Okay. All right. How long have you been fighting this? How long has this been a process for you? Is this years? This just this year? Like how long have you been in this space? Like
Well, the first time I was fighting the time I got here.
okay.
And that's a whole other story because they wouldn't let me get legal visits.
Right.
And then they said I missed a deadline, right? So, and I got the $1 million going back and forth. But this particular thing right now, it's been almost a year. But they told me, I got it, like I said, you can read it for yourself. They say I'm right on everything, on every aspect. The only thing they keep doing is asking for more time. And I don't want to wait no more time.
Yeah, no, yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that.
Because I lost it. It's called an unfixable error. They can't fix it. You would never find a case. This is like me going to court right now, representing you, and I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
They let me go up there and represent you and make decisions that is critical to your case.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, "Wait, I wasn't there. By law, I'm supposed to be there." They said, "Well, your lawyer was there." They said, "Who?" You say, "Me." They said, "Mr. Knight's not a lawyer."
Right.
But the judge allowed it to go on. So if I fired these attorneys on the minute orders, that you can read that they was fired. The news people, it's filming. It showed they was fired. How could you let them go to the next courtroom and walk on the next courtroom with like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, if that, and don't allow me to go in and let them go in and represent me to move me to counsel the CCB?
Right.
That's illegal.
Yeah.
Right or wrong? And they agree with me.
Right.
So since it's illegal, it's called an unfixable error. But I can get you all the stuff I filed and the answers. Where you can say I'm right.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Do you think your past or your perceived history is is being used to punish you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. You know that.
Yeah. Well, of
I
course.
I understand that, though.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. This is the thing about me, right? This is my thing. If they'd allow me to go to trial, I'd have won my case. I'd have beat my case.
Right.
But they didn't. Okay, I understand that, right? My crime carries 2, 6, and 11 if I was guilty. They gave me, naturally don't give me the high term, right? So my past, who I am, definitely going to make sure I get some time.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
Right.
But you don't have the right to double me up.
Right.
You don't have the right to give me a prior I didn't have.
Right.
You don't have the right to not let me have a lawyer.
Right. Right.
So I wasn't pushing the envelope as hard as first because I know I got to do some time. But I've been gone for 9 years, so I did my time already.
Yeah.
My time is up.
Right. So you're
definitely. And one of the things you got to realize one thing. Now, Snoop also got life.
Yeah.
In prison. I paid this money. I put over $5 million. I put like roughly probably almost $6 million to make sure he didn't get life, and only had one song done on it. Nate Dogg robbed, I think, like 7 Taco Bells, the same one. He must have got 30 years for robbing Taco Bell. I paid all the money to attorneys. Guess what? He didn't get no time. Jewel must have got life for shooting her boyfriend and killing him. I paid the money to make sure she didn't go to prison for life. All right? Trey beat up D-Borns and 4 other bitches. Yeah. I paid all that money to make sure he didn't get no time.
Right.
Corrupt had a case. I paid money to make sure he didn't get no time. So then the big one was I got Tupac out of prison when people thought he could never get out. But I did. So naturally, when you the guy that getting the lawyers and paying the money to keep people free, they're going to feel a certain way about you.
Yeah. That's true.
Naturally, I come from Compton. They gonna feel a certain way about it. Shit. The name of the label is Death Row Records. How you not gonna feel a certain way about it? So I understand all that. You know, you take the bitter with the sweet.
Right.
Now I understand the fact that when it's something questionable, you're gonna give it to me. You say, you know what, this happened. Regardless of what happened, it was you. We're gonna give you the Suge Knight rule and give you time. Okay, I can deal with that. But don't give me more time than the case requires me to have.
Understood.
If I do a crime, and even though I'm innocent, and you can give me 2 years, give me my 2 years, I'm gonna do it. Don't give me 10 years because it's me. Go by the law.
Right. No, I feel you.
So I'm not whining about it because number one, I don't live my life as a victim.
Right.
You know, I believe God put us in every situation to make us better. Even by me coming to prison, it's like, you know, I'm much better than that. I'm a much better man, a much understanding man than I am now than I was before I came back to prison.
Right. Understood.
So, you know, yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about the time. I'm complaining about the extra time.
Got you. Okay.
All breaking the law.
Okay. How long you said you've been in? 9 years?
9 years.
9 years. So,
my mother died when I was in the county jail because they wouldn't allow her to see me. The first day she came to see me, they went so crazy on me. And she went from the county jail to the hospital. And she begged these people to, she had a feed her, let her, she said, if I can't, they won't let me out the hospital, let my son call and talk to me. I want to talk to my son. If I can, what's the difference talking to him behind glass when you recording the conversation, or him calling on the phone when you recording the conversation?
Right.
And they didn't allow none of that.
That's a big difference.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Even when they didn't allow me to go to a funeral or nothing.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
So even when it came to the point, I asked the judge, I said, look, you don't gotta let me go when I can post my bond and bail out to go to my mother's funeral. He said, yeah, you can do that. When I go back to the county jail, I said, the judge didn't say I can go to my mother's funeral, but I'm bailing out. They said, well, you can't use the phone. Well, how am I bail out if I can't call nobody?
Right. Yeah.
And on top of that, when they first did kept giving me a no bail. When they finally gave me a bill, they gave me a $25 million bill and still wouldn't let me use the phone. They turned the bail bonds away 22 times. It's only been 3 people in the whole United States had a $25 million bill. And I know you don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy in the day who killed 800 kids and people in Oklahoma. And then he blew all the people up.
Timothy McVeigh, yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy who blew all the people up in Boston when they were running the marathon and people died and got their legs blew off, right?
Yep.
Their bill was $25 million. And then there's me.
Right.
With guys with guns. They called me and called 8 other people, and the next thing you know, they had guns. I get away and somebody dies, and I get a $25 million bill like those dudes.
Right. Yeah. That's
Don't
crazy.
make sense.
Yeah. It's definitely not the same.
So, yeah, I just wanted to be treated fairly across the board.
Right. Okay.